Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to thank witnesses. I appreciate, Mr. Chairman, allowing me to be here, even though I'm not on the subcommittee, because this is really an issue for me that's very passionate. I've started a program in Cleveland, Ohio called Opportunity Cleveland. We're looking at youth from age 14 to 24. So I love to hear these stories because I think the theme, and it's always going to be the last person, here's what I got out of what I listened to, and I hope I've got a message. First, high school education, GED is vitally important because Mrs. Olam, as you say in your testimony, a quarter of Americans with a high school diploma live in poverty, and I will bet you that a majority of Americans without high school diplomas do not have a good paying job. So that's one thing. The second thing is we have to break the cycle of poverty. I think that's extremely important. Fourth is that a four-year degree does not always make sense. And Ms. Rowland, you're a witness to that. So I've said all along that the answer, and I'm trying to figure out how to get there, is we got to go back and look at high schools. And we got to look at skill sets versus test sets. And you'll hear say that all the time back in Ohio. How do we take youth that are going through high school and make sure that we're looking at skill sets and opportunities early on? I came from a very poor family, and the only thing that helped me is, number one, I had mentors, and I had job opportunities, and I saw skill sets in high school. It said, I can be a plumber, I can be anything I want to be. We lack that. I was at a high school recently, 1,300 students, and only 30 were going to technical school. That tells you something right there, 30 out of 1,300. Because, as I've heard some of my colleagues say, we're putting all our resources toward, you got to go to college. And the answer is, you got to get a skill set. And sometimes a skill set doesn't mean going to college. So it's interesting that you can be a plumber and own your own company and make a lot more money than somebody who goes to college. Or you can graduate in Ohio with a degree and make $25,000 to $30,000, or become a welder and make $75,000. These are the opportunities we need to talk about early on. So I appreciate that. I'm assuming you're all agreeing that these are some of the issues. But I guess my question is, how do we change it? How do we fix this? And what can we do as federal legislators to change the system? Because it sounds like what I just said, you're all talking about are our problems. So how do we fix it? I did hear, and maybe we need to direct resources. Maybe the Pell Grant issue drives people to college versus high school. Any thoughts from any of the panelists?
Yeah, no, thank you. Absolutely. I think there are some things in terms of redirecting resources. I think really, we've talked a little bit about this, but how do we focus on outcomes in the programs that you fund and really measure? We value what we measure what we value, and instead of really focusing on the inputs, focusing on the outcomes. And what are those important outcomes? Do you have a job? Do you have sustaining wage? And what are the programs that are leading young people into those paths, and get rid of the ones that don't?
Sure. Ms. Rowland, it's not like you found your way after high school. I almost want to think back in high school. Do you think you were missing something? You didn't see it? I like to pick on your high school because I do think what we've done in high schools is we've directed everybody to college well.
It did take me a long time after high school to kind of figure out that I didn't really know what I was doing. I thought I knew what I was doing because I did what they told me I should, and that was aspire to college, apply, do what you can to get into college and get a degree. But I didn't really know what the realities of that really entailed, like financial aid, filling out all the paperwork, getting loans. I've gotten some terrible student loans for. So a lot of it is knowing exactly what the expectations of life are, really, and then being able to find opportunities to get to where you want to be with knowing those expectations.
Genevieve, your program actually gave me the thought that some of that could be done in high school, and you're really the subs after high school, and you enjoy some of the things we do.
I think it's fair to say that Europe exists because of systemic failure elsewhere. I think that's broadly true. So what we really want is high school students having guidance and the counseling that they need, as you expressed, Jamila, to understand not one pathway, whether it is a good trade and vocation, whether it is a 2-year degree to then perhaps then go a 4-year degree, whether it's straight into 4-year, where it's working and being stable so that you can consume merit. We don't value multiple pathways in this country. It's almost culturally seen as a stepchild if you don't do the accepted rhetoric of 4 years. It's up to us to think about how we're incenting that. Even just how Pell Grants flow. You think of Europe doesn't have an access to Pell Grant in our core program, yet we probably reach good results for this country. So how restrictive are some of the funding sources that could actually be directed to things that have verifiable results for young people?
I had one person, and I'm running out of time, or probably run out. One last question. I had an individual back in my district say to me, you know what, high school kids should just go to school until 2 o'clock, and then they should have 3 paths between 2 and 5. Should either go to a work opportunity where they learn a skill set, should go and become part of an athletic program where they learn teamwork, or the third thing is that they get a educational skill set as well. So I don't know if anybody, I mean, I thought that was pretty interesting that, we fail because the high school student doesn't have those paths of opportunity after their basic education. Thank you. I yield back.